Hey, this is Blue over at You Can Blue, and we're going to be putting in some water and land. So, here we have the empty scene in Unreal Engine. Pardon me. Now, we've got our starter content, water planes and zombie one there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new level, and I want an empty level. That way there's nothing in it. I'm not going to bother saving the old content. Okay, so now we've got this big black level, which is exactly where we want to be starting. And what I want to do in this is I'm going to make some water. I'm going to make a small island in the water. I'm going to stick a zombie on it, and I'm going to put the camera in looking at the zombie. So I'm going to go to my water plane folder. Remember, water plane is free. I believe it's in the educational content in Unreal Engine in the Epic Games launcher and on their website. Now if I go in there, you'll see there's lots of subfolders. I want the mesh, and I'm going to grab this SM Ocean Water, and I'm just going to drag it and drop it just there. Okay, so it looks like we've got this slightly weird looking tissue running around because the scale is very, very, very small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, you see that little lock just there on the right, and then I'm going to change the value here to 100, scale it right up. There we go, much bigger. Okay, so with this much larger and more beautiful scale, I need to change the material that is applied to this water. Now if we go back to here and click on lake and then materials, and I'm going to go to my, well, I've got two. I've got my lake water instanced and I've got my lake water. Okay, now lake water is the original material. Okay, so that's the big complicated set of nodes that you're looking at. If I just pull out after double clicking on it, and this is what makes our material tick. So it's what applies normals to give our water definition and all this kind of really cool stuff, as you can see. Now with the instance, what it does is it takes this and it basically makes a copy of it, and you can change some of the parameters that you've set in the first material. Don't worry about it too much. For the minute, all that you need to know is that we're going to drag that over to the material slot for the water. So I had the water selected, you can see the material, I dragged that in, and now we have this much less active looking ripply kind of effect going on. It's by no means the most realistic water in the world, but it's going to do for what we need. Okay. Now I'm going to go down here and grab a camera and just put my camera in the scene, and you can see just there I'm going to pin my preview, and that's weird, our preview is completely dark. Why would that be? Well, if you've used Unreal Engine before, you'll know it's because even though we're seeing a preview of what's in the scene, there is no lighting in our scene whatsoever. So if I go to lights, and for the moment I think I'm just going to drag a point light in, so I'll just drag it in front, and you can see now in my camera actor in the bottom right there that we actually have a view of what the camera's seeing, and we can see this kind of spotlighted kind of area here, which is going to be perfect because we don't want too much light, because it's just going to pick up the edge of where our water is, and we'll see that kind of fall off. Okay, now I'm positioning my camera carefully because remember we're going to be using kind of a Android screen sized piece in the middle, you know, a kind of letterbox piece. So anyway, I need to add some rocks, so I'm going to go back to my browser and add my rocks. Now if you've got a lot of stuff in there, just type in rock, and there's my sculpted rock pack. And remember, if you don't have sculpted rocks, that's fine, you can just use the single rock that comes in the Unreal Engine kind of starter content. Okay, but I'm pretty sure there's some rocks in quite a lot of the free content you can get from the Learn tab, so don't worry about it. Anyway, just watch what I do. So I'm going to go to my sculpted rocks, go to my meshes, and as you see there's kind of loads of stuff here. Okay, that's why I like it. I mean, we've got all these different rocks and these rock faces and stuff, plenty of things to make really cool things with. And I think I'm going to just use that rock 3 you just see there, and just drag it in. In you come, rock 3, come on. Now the thing is, sometimes it'll take a while to load if you haven't got Unreal Engine on your main scratch disk, or in my case C, I've got my faster disk there. So give it a minute just to kind of load the model in, and there we go, you can see. Now I'm only going to be using this one rock, but I'm going to make some copies of it. So I'm going to rotate it, and I can see it in my camera actor. I want it to kind of look okay, I want it to look a little bit islandy. Okay, I know it doesn't have to be the best quality, it's not a AAA game, but make it as good as you can. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this rock. Okay, so if I just move it while holding Alt, oh, didn't have Alt held down, there we go. And then what I can do is I can just scale this down a little bit. Okay, so maybe to 0.75. Okay, and the good thing is that we can have our meshes kind of colliding with each other and intersecting with each other, which is something that really we weren't supposed to do in earlier game engines, because there'd be a bit of kind of fighting over depth and things. Anyway, let's get these kind of looking okay. Going to make a few copies. Okay, so that's one. Just get it right, and if it's moving too much, I can just change the step value up there in the top right. See where it says 10? Just move it down to 1. There we go, and then I get much finer control for this. I mean, it's really useful having the kind of step control and setting it if we're doing walls or all sorts of cool things like that, but for a little thing like a rock, I think it's much more important. Okay, so we've got our simple island in the water. So I think the next thing we're going to do is, let me have a look, probably put the zombie on the island.